Good evening. I'm sorry I'm late. 3 minutes late. 4 minutes late. It's not on. 21 people in the house. I bet you kept thinking, is he coming in, didn't you? So did I at one point. I'm trying to get some tea. I've had no tea, no drink. I've just started. So God help me what I'm going to talk about tonight. Simon Spruce first in the house. Frank Casey, Graham Allison, Gary Marriott, Steve Pace, Michael McLaughlin, Richard Gould. I thought it said Richard the fifth then. I thought it was HX, wasn't it? Noel Murray, Chris Duval, Ian Gaunt, Peter Piper, Craig Thompson, Not the Tables Collis, Denver Skinner, and Earthbound Pheasant. Pluckett Miss McLear. There you go. So welcome. Didn't think I'd be doing this Wednesday night after the grief I've had in the last 2 weeks. And yet, like I said to you, like the beginning of the thing is, why should people tell me what I can say and what I can't say? Why should they take away my freedom of speech? So if you've got any dog training questions, fire away, everybody. Fire away, because my mind is on so many different things. And if I start talking about the things that's on my mind, they might section me. When I say section me, because you can't talk about nothing without offending somebody, can you? That's your problem. And now, do you think that Freddie Mercury was very depressed when he wrote, "And the party is over and I'm left cold sober, baby left me for somebody new. I don't want to talk about it. I want to forget about it. I want to be intoxicated with special brew." Do you reckon he was having a drink problem, drugs problem, or woman problem? It is a subject we could talk about. So, like I say, we come on here on a Wednesday night. If there's dog training questions, I'm answering them. Guess why? Because that's what we started this for in the first place. And then, like somebody said last week, when we had lockdown, it was a bit of a social evening, wasn't it? It's about us, the group of people, having a bit of a crack, having a bit of a laugh, talking about the ongoing topics, and having a bit of a banter, bit of communication. And so there's no problem with that. I have no problem with that if that's what people want to do. But if people want to talk about just dog training, I'm quite happy to just talk about dog training. To be honest with you, some days I have to think, what am I going to talk about today? I come on here, I'm not a comedian. I haven't rehearsed my script, practiced it on people. It's straight off the top of my head. And guess what happens if no one asks me questions? Things come off the top of my head. So I think we got a couple of questions. Is it wise to let a cocker out for a run about? Well, what do you mean? Unsupervised? Take it for a run in the field and let it have a run around? That was Plunkett McLear. What funny enough you said that. We could talk about this subject. Let me just dig it up while we're here. And I think it was a good subject to talk about. So why not go into that? Okay, this is it. Dog experts, it says experts, not expert, warning about walking your pooch every day, as she calls it, for owners to stop. So she wants people to stop walking the dogs every day. Should you walk your dog for an hour and a half in the morning, an hour and a half in the evening, and let it out for some poo breaks as well? Well, let's look at what she said. And what she said, I agree with some of it. But that's the problem, isn't it? A little bit of knowledge can be dangerous. A little bit of knowledge can be dangerous. So let's break it down and go to the end of the feed that you read all the way through, and then you start understanding who she is and what she is. So rather than just reading it out, let's go right to the end for a second. And it says here, animal lover Nikki became a dog trainer 3 years ago and focuses on positive reward enrichment games like digging sandpits and playing with cardboard boxes, using lick mats and hide and seek activities. So there you go. It's propaganda, it's agenda, it's wanting to bring in business, isn't it? So they go out and say what they want to say, and they want to put a little bit of controversy in there. But actually, if you listen to what she's actually saying, she's correct in some ways, and it's a good subject to talk about. So going back to the question that was asked about exercising your dog. Is it wise to let the cocker out for a run about? Well, what are you doing? Are you letting it out with other people? I mean, let me just quickly read through this. I won't go through all the way through it. It says a dog expert. So she's a dog expert. She's been doing it for 3 years. But she's got Yorkshire Live. She's got a post in Yorkshire Live. That's good, isn't it? 3 years you're doing it, you're dog expert. Urging people to stop walking their dogs so often, as walks aren't helpful for many dogs. Best-selling author of Stop Walking the Dog, Nikki French, said dog owners should instead pursue more stimulating activities for their pup. Well, let's have a look at that in depth, shall we, a little bit? Or let's just talk about it for a minute. My cockers go out every day. Right, good for you, Gary. Good for you. But that's a little bit limited to what you've just said. So could you give us a little bit more information? Because you didn't say your dogs go out for 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the evening for a walk, and then you start training them. But like you say, your dogs go out every day. Some dogs do, some dogs don't. When I was working and I had to go into Plymouth and work all day, my dogs wouldn't get exercised in the morning, but they would get exercised in the evening. But the exercise comes with the training. So when you're training, you're exercising. Are you running them with other dogs? Not particularly, no. Why? Because I don't want that. Will my dogs go on a shoot and look at other dogs? No, they won't. They'll just concentrate on me. They'll concentrate on me. So if we go back to what she says here, she's actually right. Not every dog thrives on daily walks, because if you've got a dog and you've let that dog take over, and every time the dog sees another dog or a distraction of people and people bending over and wanting to stroke their little fluffy, buffy fur baby, and they encourage that, then they encourage problems. So why would you want to do that? Steve Pace says, my dog gets 10 minutes. Exactly. You used to watch me out in the field every morning with the dogs. They get a 10-15 minute run around the field to do their mess out, their slop out, as we would say, and then they're back in, and then we go training. They may go out in the evening for another 10 minutes, but if the weather's not good, they don't go out. It's as simple as that. If it's pouring with rain, they don't go out. I don't want dogs sitting in kennels soaking wet, or having to dry down 10, 15 dogs, whatever you've got in the kennels. But it's different, isn't it? Each environment is different. But she actually makes a point that some of us understand. And if you went to some of the top trainers in the country, and they say, the first thing they say to you is, look at the dog, and they think, it's like watching paint dry. The first thing they'll say to you is, how often do you take your dog out? So if you want your dog at its naughtiest and you want your dog at its most trainable, take it out and train it. If you want the dog at its most naughty, take it out and let it do what it likes. It will soon start pulling you all over the place and looking for that way of life. It's all to do with the environment you bring the dog up in. You don't need to go to dog parks. You don't need to go to socialize. My dog needs to socialize with other dogs. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Not really. Because it's okay socializing with well-balanced dogs, but you start socializing with naughty dogs, guess what your dog becomes very, very quickly? Naughty. So this is Friendly Pooch Lady telling everybody, actually taking your dog out on a regular basis can cause you problems. 53-year-old dog trainer explain. I wonder what she was doing before 3 years ago. She's 53. So she was 50 when she became a dog trainer. Not every dog, every pooch thrives. She's got pooch thrives on daily walks, and they would even never impact the behavior. I don't think you even understand that, because I was just gobbling. She told the Mirror, freaking great newspaper, wasn't that Maxwell's paper, the Mirror? It might come as a surprise, but traditional walks are a human invention and aren't helpful for many of our dogs. Replacing walk time with training games at home can give the dogs skills they're missing to live calm and happy lives. If you're doing nothing but throwing food at the dog in the house, you're creating excitement for the food. The dog is bouncing off the walls because it's looking for you for the food. It's looking for that stim. Best situation, if you've got a kennel, you can put your dog in the kennel and teach it to switch off. But then when you bring it out, it gives you all that attention. But guess what? If you live on a side of a mountain with just you and the dog, and you want the dog in the house, there's nothing wrong with that. Where you come unstuck is when you've got a bunch of naughty kids that are playing up, throwing things for the dog. We're talking about gun dogs here. We're not talking about just pets. You've come to a Gundog channel. Most of you know this. This is a Gundog channel. For any of you snowflakes out there, I'm not saying you can't walk your dogs. You can trot off and do whatever you want. As simple as that. So she told the Mirror, it may come to surprise that traditional walks are for humans invention and not for dogs. In a bid to wear awareness and move away from that tradition, Nikki has launched her first Don't Walk Your Dog Day on April the 2nd. Don't walk your dog on April the 2nd. So she's dictating to you what she wants you to do. Courtesy of popular belief, with dog behavior struggles and can get more reactive and more excitable when we try to exhaust them through too much exercise. She's dead right. She's dead right. So she's got something right on there, isn't she? She's got something. I won't go right into it, but she's right because Ian said something. He's been typing strange or something. I keep one-to-one sessions with my four for about 15 to 20 minutes. I sometimes give them a run for 10 minutes to one. Sorry for the typos. My keyboard is knackered. Any excuse. A good workman never blames his tools, Ian. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. So let's talk about how often would you take your dog out? Well, it depends what situation. If you're in the house, you have to take your dog out for a mess, don't you? Have you taught your dog to hold itself? You are going to have to treat it different if you've got it in a kennel. Some people reckon that if you feed the dogs outside the kennel, this comes from a professional film star dog trainer. If you feed your dogs outside the kennel as puppies, and as soon as they've fed, they want to mess, they'll not mess inside the kennels. I've seen someone who bought a dog from this same trainer, and I said, does it shit in the kennel? He says, yeah, why? All dogs shit in a kennel. I said, well, he said that if you feed them outside the kennel as puppies and do that on a regular basis every time in the morning, the dog won't shit in the kennel because it will come out, have its food, and then learn to shit. No, they won't. Dogs will shit, they'll sit in it, and some dogs are filthy, and some dogs will go around it. They're all different. Some are like Matt Vicker. They spread the freaking cage full of it. They do me head in. But guess what? I can't take a dog out, every dog, for 3 hours. So you could say, well, hang on, that's cruel. No, it's not, because I go in the kennels and make sure the kennels are reasonably clean on a regular basis because I'm swapping dogs over during the day and training them. So when they come out with me, they're really keen and they want to play the game. How many dogs do I see that are so boring to watch when they come here for training? They've got no desire to want to please the owner. They got no eye contact. And they said, we've tried everything. We've thrown food at them. We've clapped like crazy. I've run in the opposite direction. I've gone and hidden. And the dog doesn't listen to me. It goes off and does its own thing. Ask the question why. Why have we got so many problems with dogs out there in society that people haven't got control? Oh, he's not aggressive. He's only barking. He's only growling. He's all right. He's only saying hello. Once he's said hello, he'll be fine. Yeah, right. Okay. I'm not interested. I change direction and go away from them sort of people. Simple as that. So, any questions on here, Susan?
Well, no, they just answered your
So Gary says they have a run in the morning just for the toilet, and again in the afternoon. Not always by me, but the wife if I'm working. Exactly. The dog's got to fit in with your lifestyle.
That's what Richard said. Mine fits in with my lifestyle.
Exactly. You've got to fit in with your lifestyle. And if you think the dog is a little human and it needs all these extra things, you're dreaming. You're dreaming. You're being misled. And that's the problem with things like that. Professional dog trainer. She's been doing it for 3 years. She's got a little bit of knowledge can be dangerous.
Be careful because you've got a snowflake in the house and she's very proud.
Where is she? Who's she called?
I think it says Katie Upton.
Oh, God, here we go. Happy birthday to my darling daughter, Snowflake Katie Upton. She's never having another spaniel off me. She brought it inside and let it take over the friggin' house. She calls it her fur baby. That's the last spaniel she's ever having off me. That's it now. That's it. Don't ever ask me for another spaniel. I've got a nice lurcher going cheap.
Somebody said how's the new pup? Who was it?
Who's asked about the new pup, Maggie?
Craig Thompson said, how's the new pup doing?
Settling in absolutely lovely, Craig, because of the conditioning that we're giving the dog. And let me tell you exactly what we're doing with the dog. We're taking the dog out twice a day for 10 minutes. She's in with another spaniel that's absolutely sound, doesn't bark, doesn't yip and yell. And she's learning to switch off. When she first come here, she was yelping. She wanted attention every time she saw me. And she's learning that she doesn't get what she wants when she screams. It's as simple as that. Sue does. in the bedroom. She gets what she wants when she screams, but she doesn't outside the bedroom.
Well, actually, that's taking you longer than 20 seconds, isn't it? Really?
Longer than 20 seconds to start talking about sex. See, I told you I need a drink first before I start. So what I'm saying is, with Maggie, Maggie, she sorry, Maggie May. See, doing me heading because Jonathan's dog in it called Maggie, and this is Maggie May. So we call her Maggie May. And I don't use her name on a regular basis. I don't go May. It sounds freaking funny, doesn't it, coming from a big fat bloke like me? Anyway, that's another thing we need to talk about. That I watched that well, what's it called? That news program in the mornings where everyone's arguing. Jeremy Vine show. Oh, I'm sure they just get people on there for a freaking mix up. They do me head in. And they were talking about, Jeremy Vine said, in the 70s, in the 60s and 70s, there wasn't any fat people, obese people, any fat people. I don't think they can say fat, can they, nowadays, in case somebody gets triggered. And I'm listening to it, and they'll come the phone number, and I phoned it as fast as fucking possible because I wanted to have a word with him. I wanted to have a word with him because is it a disease or is it just fat you eat too freaking much? Right? I don't know. I'm asking you lot. You tell me. Am I just a fat bastard? I just throw myself under the bus sometimes, don't I? I'll put myself up for it. I mean, don't forget, you won't. You can try and get me triggered, right? So, guess what I wanted to do? I wanted to phone up. Yes, you bastard, Craig. I wanted to phone up. I wanted to go on there, and I don't go on them programs. But guess what I wanted to do? I'll explain to you in a minute, Paul. We're talking about fat bastards at the moment. Now, listen. Before you take me down for saying fat bastard, I'm talking about myself, right?
My phone says just fat. Gary says if the cat fits, Chris.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, there's me. I watched Churchill the other day, and if you go into London, outside the Houses of Parliament, well, it's boxed up now, isn't it? Because people throw stuff at the freaking statue. They've covered him up, and they all moved him. I'm not sure. He's standing there with a big coat on. He's freaking massive, bent over. He was 5'6". Churchill was. The statue don't look 5'6". The statue's massive, but he is massive. So let's look at the science behind this, shall we? What was those things that Churchill had in his mouth? I know he started off doing that, and then he decided he had to do that and not that because that was rude, and they hadn't told him, and then he had to do that. That was V for victory, wasn't it? What were them big things he used to put in his mouth, and everyone tells you smoking kills you? You'll die of smoking. And do you know what he had for breakfast? Whiskey. Do you know what he had for dinner? Champagne. Do you know what he had for evening? More whiskey and another bottle of champagne. So there you got a guy with a big appetite, big character. Some people big fry up in the morning. He was 5'6", and look at the size of him. Now, there's the question.
That's what Graham said for you. You're under height. That's all.
No. I'm 5'9.5".
I mean, Kate says just six pack and bubble wrap, Dad.
I just got the thing is, I've been going down the gym like Larry. Look at me. Look, I'm getting bigger. I'm getting bigger and stronger by eating more. No, they reckon there's 600 calories in a bottle of wine. That technically could mean that I could have 3 bottles of wine, but I don't because I believe everything in moderation except one thing. Now, let's guess if you know what that is, everybody. Don't tell them, Susan. I'd hate you to give that away.
I didn't hear. I was reading the question.
So the reason that I've gone in a different direction and down a different rabbit hole, sex. Well done, Gary. Top of the freaking pile. Top of the pile, boy. So the reason I've gone down that different rabbit hole is they tell you smoking kills you. It's not good for you. And drinking kills you. Ruin your liver. So now you've got no lungs, no liver. And guess how old Churchill was when he died? Anybody want to have a guess? Anybody want to have a guess when Churchill died? Now you could say, yeah, but he's an exception compared to most people. But hang on. Science tells you so much. They told me that butter wasn't good for you and you should have margarine. I went over to margarine for 20 freaking years. I hated it. Absolutely hated it. Then they tell us butter's good for you. Too many pies and not enough exercise? Jonathan Wakefield. I'll have you know, I don't eat that many pies. I don't. How dare you? So we go back to Maggie, shall we? None of you guessed how old Churchill was. Die happy, says Peter Piper.
Denver said my great aunt lived to 98, smoked from 15, and had a tot of whiskey every night.
That's what I believe in. I believe in releasing pressure.
Mark Brown said my granddad lived to 96, drank whiskey every night.
Yeah.
Right, I'll have the wine, you can have the whiskey.
So, come on then. Lewis Bond, out about June Brown, smoked all the way and reached 95. Yeah. 98, Churchill. You're right, Gary. 98 years old.
I thought he was 95.
95, Sue says. Well, he's in his 90s. I know that. So guess what? I actually think they reckon she called him Pig, didn't she, or Pug or something, his missus. And she reckoned he was a grumpy bastard unless he'd had a drink in the morning and a drink in the evening. So we've all got off at problems, haven't we? And yet, 90 plus, 90 times, 90 plus. Yeah, he was. Churchill was 90 plus. So big people who drink and smoke can live. It's a lottery out there, isn't it? How many of you lost mates? How many of you got mates you've lost who were non-smokers, didn't really like sex, didn't drink much, boring as shit, sat on a riverbank fishing, and then dropped dead? We don't know what's around the corner, do we? So
I say take one day at a time because you don't know what.
but I think, like I said, everything in moderation except sex. I tell you what, she's doing me freaking head in. I've got to try and break this down. I'm dyslexic. No, you goon 90. The X was the kiss. What the freaking 90? What?
She said 90.
Can you understand these teen? I'm going to say teenagers. She's not a teenager. She's 30 freaking 4. My daughter is 34. She makes me feel freaking old.
She's calling you a goon. She said 90, and the X was a kiss. That's all. Don't you understand text language?
No, I don't understand text language. No, especially no, I don't. No, I'm a goon now. I'll take teenager. I was going to say for teenagers. I still class my daughter as my daughter, my kid. And at the end of the day, you're always protective towards them, aren't you? I don't look at her. She's 34. She has to make up her own mind what she wants to do. But I'm learning. I've had 2 heart attacks. Haven't drunk in 30 years. Do you know what, Earthbound? That's the whole point, isn't it? The whole point is you don't know what's around the corner, do you? You don't know what's around the corner. But
like Gary says, he's got a mate battling throat cancer at the moment. He's never smoked.
Jonathan Wakefield, we can only hope 90 plus and on the whiskey. Do you know what? That's the whole point, isn't it? I can honestly say I wouldn't want to die tomorrow because I got my missus and I don't know how she'd cope without me.
Nobody asked me.
Don't ask her that question, anybody. Please don't ask her that question. That's just being too personal. She might give you the answer. That's where we're going wrong, Earthbound. This is it. So going back to Maggie May. She's running with this little spaniel bitch.
And Katie was right.
Oh, for frick's sake! I'm trying to get into a freaking pattern here and get on with this, and I got a woman in the background giving me freaking honestly.
No, Katie was right. He was 90 when he died.
He was 90. Well, I'll take 90 all day.
She googled it.
I'll take 90 all day, whatever he was. He was. I know he's in his 90s.
She googled that.
I'll gladly take 90 as long as it's reasonably well up to that date. But so we go back to the freaking dog training, shall we? I'm trying to. Right. They told you, didn't they? Remember in the 70s, going back to dog training, we're talking about fags. Not them sort of fags, if the police are watching. Not them sort of fags. We're talking about fags. Cigarettes. Probably some people wouldn't even understand what a fag is. Anyway, so do you know what? I'm trying to read this stuff on here. Listen to this. No, I asked Gareth's mum. He is the brains here. Oh. What does that mean to me? I ain't got a freaking clue. I'm just reading off the auto cue, and I'm dyslexic. Going back to the fact that the manufacturers, the science, because they were paid by lobbyists, told you that when they studied science of looking into cigarettes, that cigarettes were good for you. You'd wake up healthy and fresh from having a smoke. And if you watch the old films, everybody smoked in the old films, didn't they? Everybody smoked in the old films. Now you're a leper if you're caught smoking outside the freaking pub these days, isn't you? You're absolutely looked at like a piece of shit by a lot of people. How dare you smoke? Now I understand. Question 2051. Will somebody get me out the shit here?
Question 20. Oh, hang on.
I'll tell you, she's useless. Oh, can't say that. Can't say that. She get triggered. She get triggered.
Hang on. Hang on.
The NHS keeps patching me up. How old are you, Earthbound Pheasant? How old are you? I'd say you're 60.
Oh, here we are, Michael. Michael Blackwood.
Come on then. Far away.
What way will the new pup most likely work? Pointer, hunter, or a retriever?
I have no idea. I have no idea, Michael. It may just be a lurcher. I may be able to save cartridges. So, going back to Maggie May. She's out with a young spaniel. Now, shut up, Susan. She's out with a young spaniel. Oh, here we go. See, she had to freaking start, didn't she? Oh, it's getting hard work. I've been putting the young spaniel on the place board, retrieving. We've got somebody who's joined the group who says they've got a young dog and they can't get it on the place board. It doesn't really get on the place board. So I thought I'd do a couple of videos. But I've been getting the young bitch to jump straight on the place board with the retrieve. Now, the young bitch brings it in nicely most of the time. On the odd occasion, she drops it. When she drops it, Maggie May picks it up and runs around with it. So Maggie May has got the idea that I don't have to bring it back. She runs around with it and would rather sit in a corner and just sort of rip it to pieces. Now, I hope she's got a good mouth. But at the end of the day, she's copying the spaniel because now she's realizing the game finishes unless she brings it back, jumps onto the place board, gives it me, and the game of the chase continues. It's amazing watching a little dog of that age, I think, 11 weeks, develop so quickly and pick up the gameplay. Because gameplay, if you think about it, there was nothing better, was there, than going in the school playground and playing, isn't there? Because you could play with the girls and the boys. Can you say that? Can you say that? But remember those school days? Remember those nursery days? It was all about play, wasn't it? And then when they made you go and lie down and sleep, did you really want to do that? They put you in those cots. Remember, a lot of you won't even know this. At my age, will. They used to then give you half a bottle of milk, didn't they? And then you used to have to crash out time. You have to go and sit up, lie in a cot and freaking drink your milk and shut up and go to sleep. I used to hate that. I wasn't ready for that at that age. I absolutely hated it. But we got forced into that because the government thought that was great. Then they told you milk was shit for you, didn't they? That milk is not good for your cholesterol level. Now they say that freaking watered down blue stuff. No, is it blue? No, what colour? Different colours on the milk bottles. Red. It's just watered down milk, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
It's not freaking. I like the blue stuff. I actually like Gold Top. When I was a milk lad, I used to have a bottle of Gold Top. Do you think that's why I'm big? Anyway, so going back to Maggie May, it's so fast how those dogs will pick up visually what's going on. So she's copying the other dogs. So if I go in the field with the dogs, she comes in the field. If I come out the field with the dogs, I don't call her. She follows.
She's very inquisitive.
She's inquisitive. She's into everything. She's a lovely little thing. She's a lovely little thing. But can I tell you what she's going to be like, Michael? No. I was talking to Sol this week. Really nice conversation we had over the phone for about an hour. And we were talking about his bitch and how she's copying Steve's spaniels. And he's happier with her hunting close and working a bit like a spaniel because he's getting the points. She's pointing. She's just over 12 months old. And he hadn't started. He's had 5 sessions with her on the game. She's pointing. She's holding point. She's going in, flushing when he asked her to, and he's enjoying it. Well, that's what I would like, to enjoy watching the dog work. I don't want to be running 300 miles in that direction to find the dog at point and there's nothing there. So he's teaching the dog, and what she's doing, she's actually watching the spaniels and copying the spaniels. Now, if you've got a 3,000 acre estate or a farm that you can, and you've got the right ground to work a pointer the way a pointer was designed to work, they're beautiful to watch. They're majestic. They're just pleasing on the eye, a bit like a naked woman. Some naked women, not all naked women. Pleasing to the eye. Watching a dog point and do its job is wonderful. So Sol's enjoying this side of the training, but he didn't go out with anybody. He's been going out with Steve and enjoying. And you can see he's a happier person because he's not frustrated. He's not confused what he wants out of the dog. His other dog was special in certain areas, but a frigging nightmare in other areas. And that is what you don't really want when training a dog. You want balance. You want to have a dog that you want to work and enjoy. And if you're into walking and you want to take your dog for a long walk, you take your dog for a long walk. That's up to you. But I wouldn't recommend it for a puppy. And the reason I wouldn't recommend it for a puppy is the limbs and bones are developing and they need to form those sockets in those joints. And so what happens, the muscular starts to develop over the top of the sockets, and exercise is part of that. But too much exercise, it wears those joints before they've actually formed into good solid joints. People say that, oh, spaniels have all got hip problems and joint problems. No, they've not. I've had spaniels for over 35 years and we've never had one of our own because we don't over-exercise them. We don't over-exercise them. A dog to go in the field for 10, 15 minutes, there's nothing wrong with that. A free run, as long as it's within an area that's controlled. When I say free run, not out of sight. Can you practice your recall? Of course you can. But we do that in the training. When we do the training, the dog sees training as the most important thing in life because that is the fun element. If the fun element is chasing other dogs and not listening to you and getting away with it and getting away from you, that's where we see more problems. So,
Steve said, I've never seen him smile as much.
Never seen who steals.
So,
yeah, you're right, Steve. I've never seen him smile as much. Yeah. And I think that's important because if you're frustrated with the dog and you're going to places like he came with us, didn't he, Steve? And he went shooting and he felt that he let the side down because his dog wasn't behaving. At the end of the day, we didn't look at it that way. We looked at it as you've got to learn by putting your dog in that situation to realize what temptation really is. Like he says, Steve, he says Steve's dogs are absolutely fantastic. He says watching Steve's dogs, young dog, it cover is phenomenal. And watching Steve's other dog, his older dog, just a pleasure to work, a good working dog, quality. And great to hear Sol and Steve, yeah. And it is. And we're not talking behind his back. I'm saying it what was said in the phone conversation. But Steve seemed to give him a new lease of life to enjoy it. And it was a tragic thing that happened to his other dog, and we all feel for him. But if you've got a dog and it's frustrating, there's nothing worse. I get so many people, I'm frustrated, I don't like the dog, I hate the dog. Well, you probably hate the dog because you can't get on with it. But there's not many dogs I hate. But they're all different. They all got to be tweaked slightly different. I have a pointer running with spaniels and also find the pointer has learnt to hunt reasonably close. Yeah, exactly, Michael. Exactly. And it's horses for courses, isn't it? You know, Sol went to that competition and they wanted a dog to work in the arena. They didn't want it to take in freaking the village, did they? They didn't want to take the old countryside in. They wanted to watch it in the arena, hunting within an area. And dogs should be able to adjust. And a hunting dog in tight cover should tighten up its hunting. In open ground, especially a dog that points or a long-legged dog that's either a Labrador or a pointer, it uses its nose a lot more and will pull onto game with its nose. A spaniel with its nose to the floor isn't going to pull you around as much as a spaniel that lifts its head and takes in visually movement of birds. If that starts happening, you cause all sorts of problems. It's as simple as that. So
Gary said it's a pointer lurcher adore, but Paul Cocker asked.
there's no lurcher in it, Gary.
Chris,
We're only playing with you.
but he called it a pointer lurcher adore. But Paul Cocker, Chris, what is the actual makeup of the pup? I thought it was a crossed wire hair with a short hair. So what is the actual makeup?
Well, we'll let Jonathan Wakefield answer that question, because Jonathan Wakefield bred her. And I don't know if you remember Maggie, who came here. We did some videos with Maggie, and one of the videos was beautiful. Was Maggie was running with the mule, and we were filming her running, and we filmed her opening up, and she just looked majestic. And I thought to myself, I love that little bit. She's lovely. Not little bit. She's quite a good sized bitch. But I just love the face on her, and I love the little bit of naughtiness in her. But I love the fact of.
Even though you called her a lurcher.
But I called her a lurcher, and that's why some of you guys on here is laughing and calling it a lurcher, because we have a laugh with our clients, don't we? We have a laugh with our clients. Hi guys, sorry not been in the house for a while. Just been lots going on the back on track. Dogs are no different from us. Hope you're all okay out there. Okay, Pierre, nice to hear from you. Plunkett McLear, 100% Chris. What's he mean? About what? What did I say this time? Was it when we were talking about sex?
No, I think.
Let's talk about sex, shall we? No, we can't do that because some people are going to get triggered.
No, I think it's just.
Jonathan says, good to hear that Sol find it interesting and insightful how the training is helped with the spaniels. It does help if that's what you want. The question is, you've got to say to yourself, listen, all dogs will open up. But if you train your lurcher or your pointer to run wide and long, guess what it's going to do from day one? Run long. If you keep a spaniel tight to begin with, a hunting dog within gunshot, and you keep it tighter than it would need to be really to begin with, I guarantee that dog will open up to double the distance by the time it's 2 years of age, and it knows what the game is, if you haven't trained it right. But even a dog that's really tight will open up to the level that's just beautiful when the confidence comes and the game finding ability. If that dog is finding game around you as a youngster, where's it going to be, everybody? Let's be sensible about it. Let's think simple like the dog. But if it keeps finding a long way away from you because it gets into that fun of the chase and flushing at a distance, where is the dog going to want to be then? That's where most people come unstuck. I'm not saying I want a dog around my feet. No way. Not once I've trained them. But to begin with, you want them around your feet. You don't want them too far away from you. But I can show you video after video. There you go. Jonathan explains to you exactly what she is, look. So I want another 200 quid knocked off that. You told me there was lurcher in there. I only bought her because I thought there was lurcher in there. I could have got myself a poacher's bag and off I freaking went.
The lurcher door is half German short hair, smooth haired pointer, quarter German wired haired pointer, and a quarter lab. So really, she's a mongrel.
Like Gary said, if it's fun to be 100 yards away, then where would it want to be? Exactly. But the nice thing is Sol has always said to me he'd like me to take a mongrel and train a mongrel for everybody and see if we can get it to a good standard. I like a challenge. It's something new, and we'll be going down that road.
You have Paul Matt.
Paul Matt, loving your work, new to your channel, great ambassador for the working breed. You've already made it clear on how to control your dog, not to let your dog control you. Exactly, Paul. That's the whole point. And do you know what? What we need, Paul, we need more people to come out of the woodwork. And I think that technology, I mean, look at this for everyone. How about this for technology? GoPro with a GoPro stand. It's got a light on it. It's got a bigger mic. You need all this gear if you're moving forward. Not the fact that I like collecting gear, all the gear and no idea, as some say, but this here is a bit of a kit. It's a handheld. It opens up so I can do videos on the floor from a distance. You can start seeing Fat Boy in the camera instead of just on the chest. We are taking it to the next level. This is a setup that's not cheap, but at the end of the day, you've got to have the gear. So not only on top of that, you've got to have computer, you've got to have editing footage, you've got to know how to edit. The modern dog trainer who's going to move forward has to have the technology not only to train a dog, not only be a people person, but also to be able to sell yourself and put your stuff up there for everyone to see. Now, the people who've been following me for a long time know the situation of all the videos that were up there, and they realized that the calendar to get a lesson with me was like a nightmare because my calendar was full non-stop. Since the virus thing and the lockdown and losing the videos on YouTube, we've had to start all over again. And in 2 years, we're back to getting the following on YouTube again, and people are beginning to contact me and want to be having lessons. But the biggest thing is, I think, with the price of fuel, the price of travel, the commitment, if you can put up videos that teach people and give true insight, and you have to be totally honest about it as well, people are going to come to you and they're going to learn from you. They're going to come and watch those videos because it's going to be far cheaper. And this is the way technology is going. I don't race out and buy the latest gadget because I'm a gadget mad, but I've got camera gear worth thousands and thousands of pounds, a lot of money. I haven't used it for over 3 years because technology has got so much better. This is the technology of this is phenomenal compared to what it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. We didn't have the media coverage that we've got now. The internet is an unbelievable tool to sell yourself worldwide, and you all know that because you've seen how many people from all over the world come into the group of Patreon and follow us, or they talk to us or send me messages about thanks so much for the videos. Patreon is the new way forward, in my opinion, because it's my platform, and if you don't like my platform, don't come in and watch it. But I also have to put myself out there to the bigger, wider market to pull those people in. And the bigger, wider market is YouTube and it is Facebook. Now, you can become an overnight sensation on Facebook. And I shared, is it the Canine Paragon podcast this week? It's great. Listen to it. It's about people selling themselves as film stars, as some of them not even genuine people. You know, it's all about TikTok. It's all about getting 3 million views on a TikTok. No, it's not. I don't come on here to sell myself. I come on here to help people train dogs and promote my business. But I promote my business in a way that I see fit. And that's why I was so cheesed off last week about people trying to silence me and say, hang on, yeah, but you're offending people. If you're offended, don't watch it. Fuck off. Go away.
Well, Katie survived, hasn't
Katie, you.
Plunk.
Great to see you not standing still being a maverick, Chris. Love it. Yeah, do you know what, Andy? I sat back, had a freaking little bit of a drip and thought, I can't be arsed with this shit. It's just not worth the hassle. And then I think, what's that Elton John song, everyone? I'm still standing. Eh?
Hey, if you can't be yourself, who the hell can you be?
This is it. Would you rather see me as myself, or would you rather see some fake bastard that you think, oh, I could marry him? He is so PC and so sweet, and he's lovely with his dog. He's kissing it all the time on his lap. Go and get May for us, Sue. We put her on her lap. You wouldn't see her in this room. She's black. She's just a little black face there. Go and get May, Sue. Go on and put her under my arm, and we'll pull in another 300 views if we put May under her arm, Sue, and start letting her lick me in the mouth. She freaking would.
She'd be up there with her face in the freaking wall.
She would. She'd take over the show, honestly. Did you know what? The best thing for pulling women is take a puppy to the puppy park. They love it. They come over and they start stroking you. No, not the dog, not you.
She is cute, though.
So Andy put something up there and then freaking retracted the message. I think he said, I'd rather have you all day long.
No, it's rather have you, and he's missed half of it. Chris, do you think there is such a thing as a difference in hunting styles between cockers and springers?
Yes, without fail. Without fail. A good question. Um, I think that cockers will hunt tighter automatically compared to springers. That will open up more. But if you allow a cocker to open up, it will open up. But they're definitely a different sort of dog for hunting. A springer will smash through it. A cocker will get under it. I think like I say it the way it is, and I've been doing this for a long time. If you said to me 10 years ago, cocker or springer, I'd say springer all day long. If you said to me now, cocker or springer, I'd say to you springer all day long. But guess what? I've seen some wonderful cockers, and some of the group members have got cockers that people would die for. They would die for. They are a pleasure to watch. Their little characters are fantastic, and but I don't think you get the same character with a cocker as you do with a springer. I, I think cockers have got that little bit of madness in them, and I think you've got to have a sense of humour to own a cocker. And I mean, okay, Ian Gord is just an exception in himself. He hasn't got a sense of humour, but he has got cockers. He'll laugh. Um, so any other questions on here?
Yeah, Katie said if it doesn't work, this is she talking now. If it doesn't work, she can always become a snowflake with me. I said you won't be able to afford her.
No, she won't be able to afford it. You should see the money I had to pay for that. Honestly, that's a designer handbag, dog. That is honestly. That's not your freaking charity shop, dog. That ain't. I mean, do you know what? Yeah, you pay more for an Heinz 57, don't you, than a freaking than a pedigree dog these days. Honestly, it's unbelievable. Honestly, it's going to take me 4 years to get me freaking money back. Ian says four of the fuckers. Go on, show it. He's got four of the fuckers. That's why he's got a sense of humour.
You'd have to be.
But I tell you what, Ian, you should be proud of him, boy, because you're doing a cracking job and you're helping other people as well. And I remember the first time you come here. I mean, we won't talk about that rabbit pen session we had. We won't talk about that rabbit pen session where your body was moving in different directions, but your brain was stood still. You bastard, Upton. You bastard. I'm glad them videos disappeared off YouTube. I bet there's people out there. I bet there's people out there go, thank friggy's videos disappeared off YouTube because I didn't like the one that was out there. But guess what, anyone? If you come here and we train and you don't like the video I put up or you don't like the way I've edited it or put it up, guess what? You only have to ask me. Shut him up, says Ian. You only have to ask me and we'll take him down because guess what? You're the people we got to look after. You're the people willing to put your head above the parapet and say, yeah, okay, share it if it helps people. And amount of people have been here and said, I don't really want me to be up there on video for everyone to see, but I feel a little bit awkward because if I don't, I feel awkward because other people have done it and that got me hooked into it. I really thank them people because without those people, you just see this fat guy waffling all the time, wouldn't you? How is Rafa? Speaking of cockers, you'd have to ask Brett. I haven't seen Brett for a while. He has been put a few posts up, but not to do with dogs much lately. I don't know if he's going in a different direction. Um, but I did see a comment from him the other day about something, but it wasn't to do with dogs. We've had some wonderful people here. We've had a mixture of people from all walks of life, all backgrounds, some wealthy, some not wealthy, and we cater for everybody. And at the end of the day, I think that it's the service you've got to give, and it's the smile and the bit of banter. And yet, you do see me on the odd occasion step it up and say it the way it is, and don't hold back too much. But the skill is reading each person. Paul, 14 weeks, don't be doing too much. Resist the urge to overtrain. So, Susan, who are we talking about there? Michael, did someone ask you a question or something?
Paul, 14 weeks, don't be doing too much. Resist the urge to overtrain.
I mean, too many people do.
Paul Matt, got a Springer, pup, 14 weeks, keeping her tight, limited access to garden, not on lead, kennel, limited retrieves, good recall. What next training wise?
Don't rush it. He's dead right. Michael's dead right. Don't rush it. Let the dog enjoy the gameplay. The retrieving is so important for a young dog. If it doesn't bring it back in, don't make a big thing of it. But you want to encourage it to carry it. If you can get it to bring it in, you're laughing. if you were to bring a dog to me for residential training, and I was going to take your dog in for 20 weeks to turn it into a Gundog, and you said to me, when's the best time to bring it in? Well, it depends what you're doing with it. If you're messing it up, it makes my job more difficult. So I've got to give you some rules and boundaries. And the rules and boundaries is build a bond with the dog, socialize the dog with other people in your house. Get the dog used to things, noises. When we say socialize, doesn't mean you've got to go to a clay shoot and sit it in the front of the line of the clay shoot, but you've got to get the dog used to things so it's not a nervous wreck. My dogs live in kennels. You would not think that when they come out that there's anything that they haven't seen. They haven't seen lots of stuff, but we got plenty of noise in the kennel. We've got plenty of banging. They go out for a run, rough and tumble. They get knocked over by other dogs as in play, and at the end of the day, it toughens them up. It's like having that kid and keeping it at home and not taking it to school, not taking it out. And then all of a sudden you throw it in the playground with loads of kids and it goes, what the friggin' hell's this? Dogs do exactly the same. But if you put that kid in the playground from the start and you overstim, you've got a kid you can't switch off. And there's a difference. There's your difference. So with young dogs, I've waited 14 months for dogs to show me a bit of glimpse of now he wants training. And then I've trained that dog in 3 months. And in 3 months, I've then won with that dog in competition. Now, that doesn't mean I haven't done nothing with it. I've socialized it. I've let it get used to my dogs. I'm in a happy situation, a fortunate situation that I've got other dogs that my younger dogs can bounce off, and it helps them so much. If you've got one dog and that's all you've got, then sometimes you have to socialize a little bit, but you want to be socializing with dogs that are balanced. And how do you know what's balanced if you're meeting up with, fur baby lovers and pet people who let the dogs take over, let the dogs fight and bite? Once you get a dog fighting and biting, you change the mindset of that dog. So say you've got a spaniel or a cocker and you take it out and some other dog comes plowing in and nails it. Guess what? It becomes vicious itself because it's had to learn to back other stuff off. If it gets tumbled, it has to learn to get over it in a litter. That's why it's important at that 8-week period that those pups have stayed together as a litter, because they've learnt those things at that stage. May doesn't look at any dog in my kennel when it comes out and go, who are you? I'm not sure about you. The first thing she does is bounds up to him and goes, hello, I'm new. And they take no notice of her because they're focused on me. So what's it teaching her? It's teaching her to be focused on me. So they're following suit. And that's what happens. In my defense, 8-hour journey, no sleep, and effing hangover from hell. It was Ian, wasn't it? You were sweating on the forehead, weren't you? And honestly, when you got no hair, you see it more than others, don't you?
Yeah,
glistens. Susan! He's never going to come down again now after that.
Yes, he will. He loves us too much.
He loves us too much. He's a great laugh.
Graham,
He's a great laugh.
Graham Allison says Brett might be lambing.
You're right. He may be. He may be lambing. Anybody else on here? 53 minutes. I'm going to have my tea in a minute. Honestly, you shouldn't be having tea at my age with my weight, should you, at this time of night, should you? Any suggestions? Leave it in the fridge and have it tomorrow. Sod off. I'm hungry. You can't drink on an empty stomach, they reckon. So I've been taking it easy tonight. Look, everyone, I've only had one glass and I'm this far down. So everyone says, what are you drinking tonight? Chianti.
Paul Matt says thanks for the info.
No problem at all, Paul. And like I said, anybody who's over on Patreon, you'll know how good Patreon is. We don't need to sell Patreon in a big way, but I do need business. And so you know that if you like the videos you see on YouTube, come over to Patreon because we'll blow your mind.
Well, Gary says, Paul Matt, join Patreon. You get all the information you need. We're a friendly bunch and we help each other. And they do.
What are you calling me, Andy Stead? You're lucky you're a mate. Salad leaf. How dare you? You bloody cheeky monkey. Oh my God, I've just been sussed. It's very nice, Kate. Very, very nice. I didn't know it was Mother's. Don't tell Mother.
I've already said.
Yes, it's mine. You bastard. Why did you get that so on Mother's Day? I'll put a dress on. Yeah, call me mother tonight. I've decided to be called mother tonight. I'm drinking the red wine.
And Peter says, no, you can't eat an empty stomach, so have another drink.
Exactly, Peter Piper. You're dead right, boy. Well, thanks for that. Anyway, we got 55 minutes. Any questions? Fire away now, because do you know what? And it gone quick tonight. I don't even know what I've been talking about tonight. There was other stuff I was going to talk about.
Ian says, see you on the 29th.
29th, Ian. Look forward to it, mate. Do you know what, Ian? I'm looking forward to it because you've got a number of dogs now, and we can mix it up, and we can. It's great for the group. It's really great for the group. Yes, it's extra work for me. People don't realise that the amount of sit down and editing. If you could see my screen at the moment, I'll show you if you like. You could have a look at my screen. Look at the videos, and that's behind there. There's loads more. Look, everyone. So as you can see, there are videos waiting to be edited, and the whole screen is filled with them. And at the end of the day, that's exactly what we do. So what we can do here, look, we can put this on here for you, and we can play a video. How about that? Is anything happening? Nothing. Honestly, it's not working. Wonder if it doesn't work when it's live like this. I'm just sharing the screen with you. Anyway, you're all there, look, all your stuff, so you can see what I see. Anyway, you have to mind yourselves for a second. You get dizzy. Lucky I'm not sitting here with just my underpants on, innit? So there you go. What I tell you what, we'll finish off with. Are you enjoying the masterclass series? Everybody in Patreon, are you enjoying the masterclass series? Because, like I said to you, I've probably got 1,000 videos on DVD in a case, and there may be championship videos, there may be trainers videos, and I've probably got 100 of those are trainers of over the last 30 years that have made a DVD. And to be honest with you, I think that the DVDs of the past are great to go back and look at and see how much we've changed our training. But have we trained and changed much in reality in the Gundog world? Yes, the pet world has gone in a different direction, but the basics of Gundog training hasn't really changed unless you come from the competition side and you want the paciest dog, the fastest dog, the best dog on the day. That video's just come on. It just shows how long. It's just come on. I can't see any of you now. It just shows. I could have showed you the video. Just turned it around. I'll carry on talking because it's yeah. So what I'm saying is, I don't want to slag off other trainers in a bad way, but if I put their videos up in small sections and it's for educational purposes, and I talk about it, or we talk about it as an educational video, I'm not breaking copyright rule. Copyright rule is if I put it up and pretend it's me or pretend it's mine and I haven't got the right to share it. If I put it up in small segments like we are and break it down, I want to show the good points as well as the negative side. And when I say negative, it's constructive criticism. If you put your work out there, you've got to accept that there's certain people will disagree with you. There's certain people that will not agree with what you say of how to train a dog. But I think that if you're a professional, you should be able to put your work up and let your work talk for itself. And if you've had no success, then you've not proved yourself, have you? But if you've had success in competition and the only way to beat other people is have a better dog, and you're not in that brown nose gang where they're all doing favors for each other, and you've got to produce a dog that's better than everybody else on the day, you better know how to train a dog to a very high standard. But I could train dogs to a very high standard 30 years ago. Surely you want people passing on our knowledge. Surely you want people being honest and open with you of how they achieve success and how to get the best out of a dog. Now, how many of you have had a dog that is like watching paint dry when you're hunting? And it's like, I wish you had another 3 gears. But you followed a trainer of an obedience-based trainer compared to a Gundog trainer. What do the books show you? Do they show you how to get over your mistakes? Do they show you individual dogs? I mean, Andy said something on here, and I don't take it lightly. A maverick. What is a maverick? Someone who stands above others, who stands out from the crowd. I don't think you say I don't stand out from the crowd, whether it's for the positives or negatives. But there ain't many people like me out on the internet who will put his head above the parapet and be prepared to be shot at. Where are these people debating with us? Where are they? They're not there. Why are they not there? Because they know what I'm talking about is the truth, isn't it? And that's the point, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to have to go in a second because my tea and I'm starving. Great watch. I'm going to increase my subscription to £10 a month rather than £5. Enjoy as much as do you know, Ben? I'm not just saying it, but I would stay in there till you've watched every £5 video and then move up to £10. How many trainers do you get to tell you that? You'll still see every video in £10 a month that you see in £5 a month, but you'll see more. So if you want to, feel free. I need the money. Someone's got to pay the bills. Good evening, Chris. How much time do your dogs spend in and out of the kennel on average? Well, you'll have to watch this video back, Robert, because we've been talking about that earlier. You're behind again. Never mind. His style isn't to my liking, to be honest, and it's a bit fluffy. I prefer straight talking, which is why you and a few others.
I like you and a few others.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Is it all about viewers? Is it all about selling? Is it all about money? No, it's not. It's about having the right people following you, the people who follow you for the right reason, because they like what they see and they get results. Anyway, on that note, I'm gone because my dinner's burning. I can smell it. Bollocks to you all. Thanks for tuning in. Chris Upton signing off. Hope you've enjoyed this evening. We did talk about a bit to do with dogs, didn't we? Churchill. We've covered a few things, haven't we? Good night, all. Chris and Sue signing off. I'm freaking starving, Sue. I think we're still live. They're all going, you fat bastard, you fat bastard. They weren't really.